I suppose with Liverpool as well is they had the benefit of selling Coutinho. I think we probably need a player maybe that you could do that with as well. But the only player that we have with that is Saka, and I don't think there's any Arsenal fan in the world that would sell Saka for anything under the 150 million. I think
I wouldn't
he's
sell
too.
him for any money.
Boy, and we all love Saka, right? But look at again the Liverpool model. Okay, we had the Coutinho. Coutinho was sold, and I'm sure at the time there was uproar in Liverpool fan base. But look what they've done with that money. If let's say, for example, I don't know, a PSG or something came in the morning, 130 million for Bukayo Saka. Do you keep a guy like Bukayo Saka as a star player in an average team, or do you just have to bite the bullet and sell your star asset to be able to upgrade the core of your side? Maybe do we have to be a bit more clever? And if a bid came in for these guys like Bukayo Saka for the good of the core of the squad, do we have to start selling these guys?
This club, it's Saka FC right now. The thing is, right, look, Saka is the future, and you need play. What we need to be doing is getting rid of these deadwood players and not the players who are actually making this club any good. Coutinho, unfortunately, as harsh as it's going to sound, wasn't making that club. It was just staling the club. He wasn't going to move them forward. No one's going to move them back. He was going to keep them where they were. £150 million for a player like that is brilliant to take. That's the problem. Arsenal never going to do that. £130 million for a guy who's actually going to be a future star? Hell no. He is the club. If you want to move forward, you keep your best players, not sell them. As much as I know £150 million to improve the squad is good, but guess what? We've now just lost a player we absolutely need to go and spend £150 million to replace. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense to me.
If you were to sell Saka and you'd say, right, you'd sell Saka, but you can get maybe Houssam Aouar from Lyon, and we'll say like a Serge Gnabry from Bayern Munich. You can get the two of them in if you sell Saka. What would you say to that?
That's
yeah. I know, but look, we know how valuable like Saka is, but it's because of his value to Arsenal is why we could potentially command a fee like this. But look, if I guess like Dave said, hypothetically speaking, okay, you sell Saka in the mall for whatever 130, 150 million, you've got a 72 million pound Nicola Pepe who should be capable of doing a job for you on the right hand side. Does a guy like that become even better on the right hand side if you bring in with that money a better right back to play behind them, a better centre midfielder partner for Thomas Partey, and a better striker for him to feed the ball to? So this is my thinking. Like, I am more than happy for Bukayo Saka, given the way he has, started his Arsenal career to continue as he is, and I would love to hold on to him. But I do think you have to get to a stage where maybe if an offer came in and you sort of say, like, my feeling would be, yeah, hang on to this kid, and he's, like I said, doing absolute bits in the Premier League. But what does it matter if the rest of the team isn't good enough to elevate that kid onto success, in the long term?
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to sacrifice someone.
I think the biggest problem, like at the core of the problem really is, if you did sell Saka and you sold him for, say, hypothetically 150 million, the issue that you're going to have is, are you confident enough that the board is just going to hand that 150 million to Arteta to spend to, improve the team and the squad? And what you have there then is, like, if you're not going to sell your prize asset to improve your squad somewhat across the board and bring it up a level, I mean, how do you bridge that gap then? That's the problem, because as you said, if you go and you sell the deadwood is probably not going to generate sufficient funds to bridge that gap. And even if you do sell the deadwood, like suppose you move Bellerin on for 30 million for argument's sake, how much of that 30 million even is Arteta going to see? You know what I mean? And that's the key thing, and that's what you've constantly seen at Arsenal over the years. You potentially move on a really, really good player, but the funds are never transmitted back down into improving the team and the squad. And there's always been, Liverpool suffered with it from years, where when we were in the transfer market, we were always hovering around the third or the fourth or the fifth choice player. We never took that 140 million and said, right, we want Alisson because we believe he's the best keeper in the world. We want Van Dijk because we believe he's the best centre back in the world. I mean, how many times did we buy players like Paul Konchesky and stuff like that? No,
Yeah, definitely. I think, from a personal point of view, one of my biggest issues would be with like with regard selling an asset like that, if I had faith in the board to reinvest that money in a clever way, then I'd say, yeah, 100%. Because if you look at our track record, we brought in this player for X amount. Okay, look at the only one I can think of in recent years that looks, you can't even say he's been a success because he hasn't had enough minutes on the pitch and he's had injuries and that. But if Martinelli works out, you look at that and say 6 million, what an absolute steal. We just don't have enough of them to make me confident that should we receive a fee of 130, 150 million, we're going to go out and we're going to find adequate replacements and really maximize the most of it. Like, I'm looking at that going, yeah, we get 130 or 150 million. What are we going to do? Buy another Pepe? So that's 70 million gone straight away. That wasn't wisely invested, So I think that for me would be one of the biggest concerns. You need to have confidence that the money is going to be spent correctly. I don't have that faith in Arsenal at the moment. I think the setup, and again, we've gone into this many times, but I just think the background setup is all wrong at the moment. It definitely needs a lot of change, and it's going to take a few seasons. And the only thing is, we're starting to implement bits and pieces. We're starting to put things in place. We've Edu there, and we still need maybe someone like an Overmars or someone to help out. But if you get a guy like that in now in the summer, which I hope we do, yeah, look, he could be 2-3 years really finding his feet in the job as well. So maybe we be better placed at that stage. Saka or someone like that. There could be a complete new kid on the scene at that stage. But even Saka be about like maybe 23-ish then. So maybe then you could be looking at something like that. But yeah, no, Souls, I do completely understand your point of view. Yeah. Also, you don't want to be selling your assets just as I said, sometimes I guess if you look at Arsene Wenger, I know the Assembled mentioned Nicolas Anelka, and at the time I think we signed him for 500 grand and sold him for 23 million. And we were able to reinvest. We brought in Thierry Henry, and the rest is history. So sometimes it does have a knock-on effect. It absolutely breaks your heart to see these guys go, especially Bukayo Saka. A guy who embodies everything Arsenal, a Hale End graduate, as you said. You never want to see these guys go. You want to see the likes of himself and Smith Rowe come through the ranks.
No. It's not about youth players. It's about youth players who actually have a bigger ceiling than anyone will bring in. That's the problem. Who we want? You said someone said Serge Gnabry. I mean, I'm sorry, but his ceiling's been met at Bayern Munich. We know how good he's going to be. Yes, he's phenomenal, but Saka can become better. This is kind of where I come from. It's like we've not seen the best of Saka yet. Saka is still a developing player who can actually become to be one of the world beaters in the Premier League. And that's kind of where my problem is. At this age, where he's actually not even at the peak of his powers, is our best player. The only reason it sounds shocking, but we're 10th because of him. We're not in a relegation battle because of him. And that's the thing. Like, if you think about him not being in that team, we can see a big difference.
Yeah, look, I don't want to dwell too much on it because we've given it a fair bit, but look, I do think it's kind of an interesting topic, and it sort of applies because, like I said, Liverpool kind of set the example for us. But like as I said, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here. As I said, I'm a massive Bukayo Saka fan. Absolutely love the guy. But yeah, look, I do think maybe his role in the side is more important than it should be. He is an amazing player, but my feeling is, a guy like that is that good, possibly also because the guys around him aren't that great. So again, look, maybe you have to sacrifice a guy like that to improve everything else around him. So suddenly that one position becomes less important. But yeah, look.